Merry Christmas. We're so excited. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are here to do our Hallmark channel and Hallmark movies and mysteries preview show. And normally that's a lot of movies, but not so much this time because they haven't given us the schedule. But we're going to do what we can. It's going to be fun. I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Alys Murray is here to do this with me. Thank you so much, Alys.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to, dive into all of the holiday cheer.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. I mean, like I said, normally these previews are some of the highlights of, so long. And there's something people really look forward to. And I didn't even know if we should even do one because we had only gotten 3 weeks of movies from Hallmark and they kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And now we're getting to the week. The movies are starting. So if we're going to do a preview, we have to do it. And we're going to go with what we have. Watch tomorrow, they'll all of a sudden announce.
Well, then you just get the joy of doing a two-parter.
That's right. But as of 10/19, this is what we have. We're very excited about it. But Alys, how have you been? You are in Greece, you're abroad. I mean, very, very exciting.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, I talk about it on Twitter a lot. My husband is British and we're kind of in the process of getting his green card. So obviously, he can't stay in America and I can't stay in England. So we kind of bop around a bit. So right now we're on the Greek island of Crete. We were just in Bucharest. And then before that, we were in Warsaw, Poland. So we've been having lots of fun international adventures. I've been trying to pitch a couple of international Hallmark Christmas movies, but it's always tricky to sell people on those. I really want to do a Christmas market movie, so hopefully one day.
Oh, that'd be fun.
They're so big over here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had some of that in Christmas in Vienna, but we could have even more. And that would be really fun, and especially like in Germany and some of those countries. They really Prague, they have really great markets there. That would be a fun one
for sure.
I have been to Greece before, but it was when I was 17, so it's been a while. But
I really come back. You gotta come hang out.
Yeah, I in some ways liked Greece even more than Italy. It was a combined trip, and Greece was so much cheaper at the time, at least, than Italy, so that was fun. And I don't know, it's just the tropical kind of feel a little bit more that we had in Greece was just, I mean, I love beaches and the ocean and everything so much.
So. Yeah, you're like a big time swimmer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So very cool. Well, that's great. So this is going to be a very interesting season to watch for Hallmark because we have new leadership. This is the first full program that will have been kind of approved and greenlit and everything by this new leadership. And where I think we're going to see some changes. And obviously there's already changes with the fact that they're not they're not giving us our schedule. They're not like, things are different. Things feel different. And I don't know, are you excited to see what Hallmark's going to be offering this year?
I am. And I think you can already kind of see that in some of the, sort of log lines that they've put out there. You can kind of see that they're moving in different directions than you probably would have seen in previous years. So I'm really excited about it. Of course, we would love to have our full, 40 plus movie list to get to really dive into and sink our teeth into. But I am really excited to see what Hallmark's offering this year.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for the diversity. I'm excited for the different stories. I so far they've been trying to tell some more emotional stories, and it hasn't really worked all that well so far. But I'm curious to see with the Christmas halo around them if I think they'll work out better. And because sometimes they do. I loved the Christmas Bow last year, and that was more of an emotional one. I loved Christmas Town. That's was one of my favorites in 2019. I think that one was, I thought, really good. So some of the more emotional stories can work. Two Turtle Doves was great, and that had some more emotional. So it can definitely be done. But yeah, I think we're seeing some different casting, some new people, as well as our favorites. And so that's going to be fun to see what they come up with. So I guess let's get started. We should talk about our rating system if people are new to the podcast. But when we do these previews for Christmas, we have 4 rankings of our excitement level. So we have it can be a lump of coal, which is no excitement at all, dreading it. And then we have a sock. And then we have an orange is our next level. And then the top excitement level is a diamond ring. Those are all things you could get in your stocking is the idea. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I always love orange. Orange is always my favorite. It feels very like Little Women. Like, I'm so excited I got my orange for Christmas.
Yeah.
Like I'm very excited to give out some oranges today for sure.
All right. Well, let's get started. The first movie we're going to talk about is called You, Me, and the Christmas Trees. So this is welcoming in the holiday season. It's on the 22nd of October on Hallmark Channel. Danica McKellar, Benjamin Ayres, director David Winning, who's done a billion of these, writer Julie Sherman-Wolfe. So I love her so much.
She's an icon. She's a legend. Yes, she's the moment.
She really is. She's so great. And so the summary for this is an evergreen tree expert teams up with a Christmas tree farmer to get to the bottom of a mysterious illness that's threatening that year's crop. And somebody did mention that this would have been a good movie if it had been finished in time for Christmas in July.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's when you'd be like looking into this kind of things, not in December. If you're looking at this in December with your tree,
you're a little late.
You're a little late.
And it would have even been good. I know obviously the timing is weird, but it would have been good last year because there was such a Christmas tree shortage.
Oh yeah.
In like across America, there was such an issue of getting them.
Yeah. So what are your initial thoughts about this movie?
Look, every person who writes a Hallmark Christmas movie wants to be Julie Sherman-Wolfe. Like, that's the goal. Like, if you get a genie or a cursed monkey's paw, that's going to be your first wish. So I trust her with anything. Yeah. I'm not a huge Danica McKellar fan. Like, she's not my kind of queen of favorite. Christmas. Gotta watch it. But I do think this sounds like kind of a fun, goofy little premise. So I'm excited to watch it. We trust Julie Sherman-Wolfe with anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I actually feel like Danica and Benjamin will have pretty good chemistry. Like, just in the promos and the trailers, I feel like their energy is kind of similar, and because she can be hit and miss for me, but I don't know. I got good vibes from the two of them in the promo.
I will say some of these posters for this one have been kind of, I don't know if the fans out there have seen them. I do encourage you to go give a little Google. Some of them are pretty funny. But I do think this has kind of like almost like a Scooby-Doo kind of premise. Like, it's sort of a fun little investigation I think we could be getting here. So I'm excited.
Yeah. I am too. I guess those posters, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I kind of was joking on Twitter the other day that Hallmark has the Tiny People cinematic universe on these posters. There's Raise a Glass to Love with Laura Osnes and Juan Pablo on the wine bottle getting poured out, tiny. And then there was Fit for a Prince with Natalie Hall inside the shoe. And then this.
Yes, they do love their little people.
The hands holding the Christmas tree with Danica. So it's a great poster. I would love to talk to the person who does the Hallmark posters. If you're listening, please come on the podcast.
Yes,
I'd love to talk to you. I think you're brilliant. You do a great job. So that would be really, really fun. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to give this like a cutie orange. It's not like top tier, but I'm hopeful, and I think it'll be a good start to the season.
Yeah, I'm going to give it very fancy socks, like your favorite pair you pull out when you watch your Christmas movies. That's where I am.
Them like Bomba socks, like nice socks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
All right, good. Okay. Then we have Boyfriends of Christmas Past. This is on the 23rd. And what do you think about the fact that they are doing these movies now? They're going to be doing them on, what is it, Thursday? I mean, Friday, they're doing them Friday, Saturday, Sunday now.
Yeah, so I think they made the move. It was like a ratings move mostly, I think, because Thursday premieres didn't do so hot
Hmm.
um, last year or the year before. So
Yeah.
I definitely get why they're doing it. Are they
Because
having movies compete against each other
so
on the
it's,
two
it's
networks? Or is
Friday,
it like,
Saturday, Saturday, Sunday.
okay, so it's
So
like 8 and 10 or whatever on,
yeah,
or
I'm not
they,
sure about the time, but yeah, they'll also have two on Saturday, one from each of the networks. And I don't know what they will do if they're going to do like the typical rollout when it comes to Thanksgiving,
mm,
because we don't know that yet. And I mean, there were part of me that wondered that if they were waiting for the announcement because of the potential strike, if that was part of the
mhm.
reason, because that would have affected tons of movies if it had gone on strike, and it was looking pretty like it was going to go on strike. And I guess they still haven't technically ratified it yet. But like I kind of wondered if that was the reason, or if they're, who knows what the reason is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if they will have that same, if it's going to be this schedule throughout the whole season, or if it's just going to be
Mm.
these early weeks. We don't know. But
But
yeah,
it is kind of weird because it's like if you were worried about not having enough movies, you'd think you would stretch them out a little bit instead of
you're
doubling
right.
up on
Yeah.
Saturdays. But
Right.
I'll be honest, I'm from the South, and so on Saturday nights it's college football. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Like, sometimes we'll wheel in a second TV to have both playing at once, like a Hallmark movie and a football game, but we usually watch those on Sunday morning anyway. So I will be catching them on the replay.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I can
thank
definitely see
goodness for
how,
DVR.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know how any of you guys would do this without DVR if you watch, 100+ Christmas movies a year.
I don't, yeah, we couldn't do it. And we especially actually this weekend, because I'm going to be at the Animationist Film Festival in Los Angeles. So
Of
I'm going to
course, yeah.
be, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to be watching tons of animated films, and also luckily, I don't have to be on the recap next week. It's going to be Bree and Ann and Carrie. So that'll be super fun. And, but anyway, yeah. So Boyfriends of Christmas Past, this is on the 23rd. And it's Catherine Hannah Kim, Raymond Ablock, and Paul Soon Hung Lee. And as well as we interviewed Ish Morris, and he's great. So that will go up on Saturday. And this is director Jake Helgren, and Jake Helgren has done so many Christmas movies. Most of it, he has two just this season for Lifetime. And
Wow.
a
Busy,
lot of
busy.
times, yeah, oh yeah, a lot of times he writes the movies, not only directs them. But I don't think that's the case with this one. But he is done so many. And so, he definitely is very, very, very experienced writer, director. And I mean, I'm so excited to have Paul Soon Hung Lee on, because I mean, I was a huge Kim's Convenience fan. I absolutely love that show so much. And I don't know, did you ever watch that show?
No, I didn't. No, it wasn't
Yeah,
one I caught.
it's so good. It's on Netflix. So if you ever want a fun binge, it's great, because not only do you have, because it's about this family that runs this convenience store in Toronto. But it's not only about that, this Korean Canadian family, but also their son, who's played by Sim Lu from Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's played by him. He works at a car rental dealership, which is also hilarious. So you've got like two different shows almost going on. You've got the car rental side that's really funny, and you have like the family convenience store side, and it has so much heart. It's so sweet, it's so well written, it's hilarious. I love the show, so I highly recommend it. So I was so excited to have him be a part of the Hallmark family. It's great. And the story, I guess, was written by a Korean woman, and this was Ish was telling me. today. And Catherine Kim, she is of Korean ethnicity. And so that's cool and fun. First time for Hallmark. And anyway, the summary is leading up to Christmas, marketing executive Lauren is visited by the ghosts of 4 ex-boyfriends. She must learn to open her heart or risk losing her best friend, Nate. So, what do you think about this idea of the boyfriends of Christmas past?
I absolutely love the idea. I think it really has like a note of whimsy that sometimes can be missing from like kind of old school Hallmark, or I guess like not old school Hallmark, but sort of like mid-period Hallmark,
Right, yeah.
Like the little kind of touch of magic, I think, is really fun. Like it almost reminds me of like the birthday wish. Like it's got kind of like a note of that sort of fun, sort of kind of little off center of reality, which I really love. And there's something in England that it's maybe not like a super, what's the word I want to use? Like maybe is not super PC maybe, but when guys go to a bar and they think there are a lot of hot women there, they say, oh, this place has a lot of good talent. And it's kind of what I feel when I look at pictures from Boyfriends of Christmas Past, but with all of the boyfriends. It's just like, it's a smorgasbord of hotness. I'm very excited to dig in. I'm so delighted. I think it's like, Hallmark has always been very good at eye candy, and this is just like a buffet. I'm so excited. You really, get not just like the one hero, but so many. It's very nice.
Poster,
I'm excited.
I was, they're beautiful, beautiful men in this movie. I'm excited just for that alone. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And this Raymond Ablock, who plays Nate, he's very dreamy, very dreamy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So dreamy.
And I think that people are really going to enjoy Ish Morris. It was such a fun interview, very charming, very charismatic. And I don't know, I agree. I think it looks funny. It looks new, fresh, different. I am looking forward to it. And like I said, having Paul on here is just exciting because I love Kim's Convenience. It's such a good show. If you are looking for a really warm-hearted, lovely, funny show, you really should give it a shot. So I also
love to hear what you said about I love to hear what you said about kind of the diversity behind the story telling team, because I think that's something that Lifetime has really excelled at, is kind of going after diverse behind the camera talent. And so I'm excited to see that Hallmark is investing in that area too.
Yeah, and I wish I had the name. Unfortunately, I can't find an IMDb for it. But that's just what Ish told me today in the interview, that it had a Korean writer. So I guess I'm assuming he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to be bold, I guess, and I'm going to give this a diamond ring. I know.
I am too. Diamond rings all around. A round of diamond rings. Let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah. Don't let me down. It looks so fun. Okay. And then also on the 23rd, we have Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It's Christmas in My Heart, which some of these titles, you're like, how has that not been taken? That seems so like, how's that not? But it's Heather Hemmons, Luke McFarlane, Shirley Ralph, director Pat Kiley, who we love. He's great. He did Christmas Ever After last year, which I don't know if you got to see. Good. So good, right? And he was just barely our guest for our patron watch along that we did of Christmas Ever After just last month. And so if you're listening and you're not a patron, you should totally check it out. It's such a great way to get behind the scenes of all of your favorite Hallmark and Lifetime movies. Really fun. This month, we have writer Anna White, coming to watch Check Into Christmas and give us all the lowdown. And she's great, hilarious, so good. So that one's going to be really fun. That's on the 20th of November. And it's any level of patron can be part of the watch along. So as low as $2 a month, which is just like nothing. So, so sign up, please. We would so appreciate it. All the information is in the description. of this podcast. But anyway, that's a long explanation of why we love Pat Kiley. He's great. And writers Jamie Pacino, Sherry Sharp, and Liz Storm. And one thing I have definitely noticed from Lifetime and from Hallmark, a lot more female writers, and not just the ones that we know and love, like Nina and Julie, but some new writers, which makes me really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to have more voices behind these movies, and I think you kind of see that sort of freshness in a lot of these pitches for sure. Even from obviously our favorites like Julie Sherman-Wolf. Like I think they're getting a little more creative license to have a little more fun with it.
I agree. All right. So this one is a concert violinist and a country star bond over music. So we don't have much of a summary there, but I love Heather. I think she's great. She's only done one other Hallmark movie, and it was good, but I loved her in it, and I loved interviewing her. She was wonderful. And Luke McFarlane, wonderful. We all love him, of course. And I feel like that they'll have pretty good chemistry, and I'm looking forward to this one. I think it'll be good. I'm hoping it'll be better than his music movie last year, which was not the best. I didn't hate it or anything, but it was one of my least favorites of the year. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm definitely there's not a whole lot to go on.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's going to be more like the cutting edge, where it's like two people who love the same thing but in totally different ways, and then they clash and then eventually fall in love, or is it going to be more like kind of earnest and sort of straightforward? So I'm interested to see kind of the approach here for sure. But yeah, it looks like a sweet premise.
One of my favorite TV movies of all time is this obscure Lifetime movie from I don't even know when, called Love Notes, with Antonio Cupo and Laura Leighton. And she's like this NPR classical music person, and he is this like kind of this suave country singer, whatever, and of course sparks fly. It's a really good one. You should check it out. Anyway, so this whole dynamic of like classical versus country, I think could be really fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this I think I'll also give it a cutie orange. I hope it won't be boring. I hope it'll be good. But just on this cast with Heather Hemmings, Luke McFarlane, and Shirley Ralph, I'm going to give it a cuties orange.
I'm going to go ahead and go socks.
Oh, yeah.
It looks good, but I'm not totally sold.
Yeah. All right. Then we have the Santa Stakeout. This is on the 24th at Hallmark Channel. Tamara Mowry Housley, Paul Campbell, and Joe Pantoliano. Director Peter Benson, we love him. And it's two police detectives go undercover as a married couple to solve a string of heists. Their prime suspect, the chair of the town's Christmas committee. And from what I've seen, just little bits of this movie, it does look like it's going to have a little more humor than we typically get to see. And, Paul was saying that really the romance is kind of secondary to the story of this, these detectives, going undercover and everything. So that sounds kind of fun. And I love the title, Santa Stakeout. It's very good.
It's so good. Yeah. It is kind of interesting just from a programming point of view that the two movies so far that we've seen with mysteries at their heart, neither of them are on movies and mysteries.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
But like one of my favorite, first of all, it kind of gives me like Brooklyn Nine-Nine vibes. Like it's kind of a funny cop, sort of fun mystery, which I think could be really exciting. But also one of my favorite Christmas movies is a Barbara Stanwyck, Fred McMurray movie, which the name is actually eluding me at the moment. But she's like a criminal and he's a DA, and he like takes her home for Christmas.
What's it called? Is it Remember the Night? Is that what it's called?
Yes, Remember the Night. Yes.
Yes.
And so I'm always here for like kind of crimey Christmas movies. I think those can be like really fun and have some fun dimension to them. So I'm really jazzed about this one for sure.
Yeah. And this one's written by Greg Rosen and Brian Sawyer is the names of the writers. So yeah, I think it looks really fun. And I feel like they'll have good chemistry, Tamara and Paul. So I think that'll be good. So yeah, I'm going to I want to give this one a diamond ring. What are you going to give it?
I'm giving it a diamond ring.
Okay, I'm going to give it a diamond ring too. I don't know why I hedged. I think it'll be fun. Please be good. Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. We have Christmas in Harmony. This is on the 29th, Hallmark Channel. This is Alys Murray, Luke James, Loretta Devine, Michelle Williams, and Basil Wallace. Director Rusty Cundiff and writer Jesseline Berry. Harmony is tricked into auditioning for the holiday chorus, directed by an ex-boyfriend. By Christmas Eve, they could be harmonizing in the key of love.
I have so many questions right off the bat. One, how do you get tricked into auditioning for a holiday chorus or any kind of chorus for that matter? I'm fascinated by the way they're going to set this up. I absolutely cannot wait. Something that, your listeners may not be aware of is that, so when the reason that you don't really see a whole lot of like, let's go caroling or let's go be in the choir movies is that if an actor's mouth is visibly moving on screen for a certain period of time, they actually have to be paid more. So like we had, I pitched a movie that was going to have a big like climactic kind of like How the Grinch Stole Christmas sort of ending where everyone's singing, and they're like, nope, too expensive. So I'm very interested to see how this choir gets pulled off.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Huh. Yeah, I do wonder how you get tricked into auditioning. This is a volunteer activity.
Yes, how she gets there and how she stays there. I'm very interested to see how it all comes together.
Yeah, I mean, she's like taken against her will. I think consent should be required for all Christmas choir auditioning. So I agree. That's bonkers. I don't know most of this cast that well. That doesn't mean they're not amazing. Aside from Loretta Devine and Michelle Williams, I'm guessing that's probably more of a cameo, but who knows? But I'm gonna give this a sock, but I hope it'll be good.
Yeah, I am so fascinated by the premise. I've just got to give it an orange. Like, there's no way I'm not tuning in to see how someone gets tricked into joining a holiday choir.
Okay, then we have The Christmas Promise. This is on the 30th on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And this is Tori DeVito, Dylan Bruce, Grayston Holt, and Patrick Duffy. So pretty good cast. DeVito will portray Nicole in the film, a woman who learns to deal with grief with the help of her grandfather and a carpenter named Joe, who she hires to renovate the home she was to share with her fiance. So I guess that's really not that much more, but there we go. That's all we know about The Christmas Promise. But the cast is pretty good. And hopefully it'll be good. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna give this one a sock. But
Yeah, yeah, I'm going sock as well, I think. It could definitely be very dramatic. I actually had a family, or not a family friend, but a friend who had to move into the house he was supposed to share with his fiance, and that's tough. I mean, it's really tricky. So I'm interested to see how they approach this in a way that's still, uplifting Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. All right. So then we have Coyote Creek Christmas. This is also on the 30th Hallmark Channel. Janelle Parrish, Ryan Pavey, director David L. Strasser, Alexa Garster, the writer. The fate of the Coyote Creek Inn and Paige's relationship are both left to the magic of the holiday season to decide. So, you know that the Save the Inn storylines usually aren't my favorite. It can be done well, and some of them I've really enjoyed, but that usually is pretty boring, and just because there's no stakes. You know that they're going to save the inn. There's nothing. So like the chemistry and the banter have to be good enough to sell it, because the story alone is just not compelling to me. And people are always like, well, what about You've Got Mail? And I'm like, You've Got Mail, she loses the store. It's a save the store movie with actual stakes. She actually has to evolve and adapt and change and deal with it. And so that's the big difference. But I don't know. I mean, I like Janelle Parrish and I like Ryan Pavey. I'm not 100% convinced of the two of them together that they will have good chemistry. I'm not, and I can't even explain it necessarily why, but I'm just not 100% feeling it. And we haven't had like promo or anything, so who knows? Maybe I'll love it once I see it. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, this is one that I'm not super sold on. I think this is going to be my first lump of coal.
Yeah. I think so too. I'm just not feeling chemistry. I'm not feeling the story. Yeah, it's at the very best like a dirty sock. I don't think so. All right. So then we have Christmas Sale. And this is on Halloween on Hallmark Channel. And this stars Katie Sackhoff, Patrick Sabongi, and Terry O'Quinn. And welcome to the Hallmark family, Katie Sackhoff. I am so excited. Yes. I feel like this is going to be such a big win. Like, she just seems like a perfect fit for Hallmark. I really hope this is the first of many. And I'm just very excited about, having somebody of her caliber in these films. I just love her. So I'm super excited about that. It's director Stacey N. Harding, and the summary is: when Liz returns home to take care of her estranged father, she is determined to give her daughter a perfect Christmas and reconnects with her best friend. So second chance romance, usually pretty fun. What do you think about this?
I am so thrilled about this. I really cannot wait. Katie Sackhoff, it's Starbuck. Like, come on. I'm so excited that Starbuck is going to be on Hallmark. Like, as soon as I saw that, I called my husband. It was like, you have to hear this. Katie Sackhoff is going to be on Hallmark. So I am just over the moon excited. And I think, I really like the summary. I think it's one of those movies, it's a single mom movie, which we really don't get a whole lot of. It's mostly, we have a lot of single dads of precocious, cute little girls. So it'll be good to see a mom and daughter story, which is exciting. And I like that, I think one of the things that Hallmark does that can be really great is having those tight-knit family bonds that you get to see at the holidays. But a lot of people don't have that. They don't have the super close family. So it'll be nice to see a movie about a person who does have to kind of do the work of reconnecting and really dig in to kind of rebuild those family connections. So I'm excited to see this one.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, just for Katie Sackhoff alone, I'm giving a diamond ring.
Me too. Diamond ring.
I just think she's great. Okay. Then we have, it's just a little bit confusing. So on the announcement that they gave for all the, trades or whatever, They had Open by Christmas listed as the movie for the 5th of November, but Tracy Andreen told me in her interview that it's been switched and that her movie, The Gingerbread Miracle, is going to be on the 5th now, and that now Open by Christmas, we don't know when it's going to be. So who knows? We're going to preview both of them. So Open by Christmas is supposed to be on the 5th. We'll see. Hallmark Channel, Alison Sweeney, Erica Durant, and Brendan Elliott. And it's a woman finds an unopened Christmas card from her high school secret admirer and tries to discover his identity. So for me with this one, I do think that Alison Sweeney and Brendan Elliott are a pretty good combo. I feel like the two of them will have good chemistry, and I feel like that's a good match. If I was putting Brendan with someone, I think that's good. But last year, there were about 35 movies on Hallmark/Lifetime where it was some variation of, I have a picture, letter, ring, bracelet, something like that. And I'm like researching it to find out, what's going on. And they were almost all snoozes. Like, I don't think, really hardly any of them worked for me. Because I'm just not, it's hard to get me that invested unless you're signed, sealed, delivered, and you're Martha Williamson, who's a brilliant writer. And you already are invested in the characters. So that kind of a like journey works for that show. But I think that for these movies, it just, I don't know. I just have a hard time caring enough about the picture, the ring, the whatever. And so that this summary screams a little bit of that to me. I'm like, so I'm going to give this a sock, but I am hopeful that they'll have good chemistry and that will work.
Yeah, I think this secret admirer angle is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I do often struggle, both as a viewer and as a writer, with kind of the Hallmark obsession with like high school. Like, he was my high school boyfriend. It was my high school secret admirer. It's like, girl, you're 45. Like, stop it. Like, sometimes it gets a little bit like, why are you still hung up on this high school thing? So I think that's what really restrains me from just like being like, cool, let's go along for the ride. I think I'm also a sock at best.
Okay. All right. So Gingerbread Miracle, which might be on the 5th, according to Tracy, but we don't know. This stars Merritt Patterson and John Ecker, as writer Tracy Andreen. And it's Maya and Alex, old friends from high school, work together over Christmas to sell his uncle's Mexican bakery, famous for its gingerbread cookies that the patrons believe grants wishes. So I think this sounds fun. The magical gingerbread cookies, and we had the baker's son, I think it was called, this with the magical bread this summer, that one was bonkers and fun, and this sounds creative and different, and I like Merritt for the most part in her movies, so I think this one sounds creative. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like the sort of magical element of it, and I love movies that's like, it's not the power of the wish, but it's the power you give the wish kind of thing.
Yeah,
which is really fun, especially at Christmas time. So I'm excited about this one. I'm going to give this one like a really nice orange. And we love Tracy Andreen, so
yeah, and
we must stand.
Yeah. She always brings like a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of kind of meta humor. Especially it's Christmas Eve. That was, I think, one of her best scripts that she ever did. So yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm going to give it a gingerbread orange, like
very nice.
Piece of gingerbread made into an orange. It's very good. Okay, here we go. Then we have Debbie Maycomber's A Mrs. Miracle Christmas. So this is a new entry, reboot, you might say, of the Mrs. Miracle franchise, which of course is Doris Roberts back in the day, classic Hallmark. And this is on the 6th at Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And it stars Caitlin Doubleday, Steve Lund, who I love so much, and Caroline Ray, of course, as the Mrs. Miracle. And this is adapted by Nina Wyman, so legend, of course.
Again, we stand.
And it's Mrs. Miracle swoops in to give a struggling family a dose of the holiday spirit. So it's I feel like Caitlin Doubleday, Steve Lund will be a pretty good match. Caroline Rhea, I think she's not as old as Doris Roberts was when she did the role by a long shot. But
yeah, this is a young, sexy Mrs. Miracle.
Right. But I feel like she'll be really fun for the role. That she'll do a good job.
Yeah, I'm such a Sabrina the Teenage Witch fan, even to this day. Like the TV series was just like one of my favorite things growing up. So I am never going to say no to Carolyn Rhea. The summary isn't super detailed, and I'm not super familiar with Mrs. Miracle lore. So I'm interested to see how I approach it, the first time. But I'm excited to dive in.
Me too. I'm giving this one diamond ring. I really am hopeful that it will be one of the highlights of the season. So hopefully.
I'm going to give it an orange.
Okay, good. All right. Then we have Next Up Christmas. This stars Lindsay Finesca, Chandler Massey, Leah Thompson, and Christopher Lloyd. So we've got Back to the Future reunion going on here. And it's director Dustin Reichert, Leah Thompson, and Christopher Lloyd reunite in a movie about fittingly time travel. A woman wonders what her life would have been like if she'd married her ex. Then she gets on a train that takes her 10 years into the past.
Time train.
We just recently had a very similar movie in Fall Harvest season, Love Strikes Twice, where she goes back 15 years, and it didn't really work. And I'm hopeful that this will work. But it was weird because they went back in time in this last one, and they didn't really do anything interesting there. They were saving the library, and you're like, why did we need to be back in time for this? And so hopefully they'll do something interesting with this one, and you'll get a chance to kind of see how she see her choices and what she could have done differently. There was a show on VH1 that only lasted one season. It broke my heart because it was such a good show, called Hindsight. And it's basically this girl, she wakes up one morning and she is back in the 90s, and she is about to marry the next day her first husband. And so she's kind of like, well, what am I going to do? Do I make the same mistakes over again because that made me the person that I was, or do I do something different, or what? It was such a good show. So if they can capture that kind of energy, then I think it could be really good. But again, if they're just going back in time to save the library, that's not going to be very good. What do you think?
Yeah, I am never sold on stories like this. The premise always makes me sad. Whether it's Sliding Doors, or there was a musical called If Then, there's always a trade-off, right? You always have to make a sacrifice no matter which life you pick. And that always is just too sad to me. I don't like it. So I think really the selling point for me is getting to say Time Train. Love that for me.
Yeah.
And Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to give this a nice pair of socks, I would say.
So yeah, I think if you kind of, you have to sort of treat it kind of like Doctor Who, in the sense that Doctor Who never really cares about the repercussions of him going all through time and then changing everything. He doesn't really, that they never really address that hardly at all. There's a couple episodes, but that you kind of have to either do that and just kind of, pretend that the TARDIS takes care of all, or you have to address it somehow, one or the other. And I think it just depends on kind of are you invested enough in the decisions the characters are making in their journey? Because it like I said, it did really work for me very well with this show Hindsight, but most of the time it seems like it doesn't work. It's a tricky thing to write. So yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give it a sock, but it'll be like a Back to the Future song. Hopefully it would be good. All right, then we have A Christmas Treasure, and this is on the 7th, and it's Jordan Sparks, Michael Xavier, and director Michael Robinson. And this is written by Judith and Sandra Berg, who are, again, legends. Amazing. And it's an aspiring writer wonders whether she should move to New York after finding a time capsule. So this is another kind of time travel, time in whatever. I guess I don't know where she finds the time capsule, but or what she finds in it. I don't know. But anyway, A Christmas Treasure. I guess the main appeal with this is Jordan Sparks and Michael Xavier, who I like them both a lot. And the Bergs, they do a good job almost always. So I'm gonna give it a sock, but hopefully it'll be good. We don't know that much. It's kind of hard to know.
Yeah, this one is a bit opaque. I do hope that the movie ends with her moving to New York. I hope it's not like, no, my small town's great and I'm going to stay here forever. Like we've had so many of those. It'd be fun to see sort of like the counterpoint to that. So yeah, I am so fascinated to know what one could find in a time capsule that would convince you or dissuade you from moving to New York. I'm fascinated.
Right. Yeah. So we have a whole bunch that are to be determined, and we know very little. So we're just gonna do like speed round for these. Okay, so all right, first one, Christmas at Castle Hart. The stars Lacey Chabert, Stuart Townsend. Synopsis is a woman goes to her ancestral Irish town and meets an earl who hires her to plan a Christmas party.
Okay, I do not like Christmas planning, but I love Ireland and I love alcohol. And once I did see a picture of them outside of a pub filming this movie. So
socks. You did? So what did you say? What did you give it?
Socks.
Oh, socks. Yeah, I love Lacey for the most part. And Hallmark already did one Irish movie this year that was a snooze. Hopefully this will be better. But yeah, I'm going to give it a bomba sock, like a nice sock. Hopefully it'll be good. Okay, then we have the Christmas contest. This is Candace Cameron Bray, John Brotherton, and Barbara Niven. And all we have is 2 execs compete in a Christmas charity contest. So we know almost nothing. But I guess John Brotherton was her co-lead on Fuller House, I believe. I heard that's what people were saying. So
yeah, I'm getting this cold. No comment.
I'm going to give it a sock. But it's going to be fun to see Candace and Barbara Niven back together because they were in Christmas Detour together. So that hopefully will be fun. Okay, then we have the Christmas House 2, Deck Those Halls. And this is the sequel to The Christmas House, obviously. And it's Robert Buckley, Anna Ayora, Jonathan Bennett, Sharon Lawrence, Treat Williams, Brad Harder. In the sequel to The Christmas House, 2 brothers compete to create the most extravagantly decorated, you guessed it, Christmas house. I'm going to give this a diamond ring. I liked the first one. I'm excited to see what happens next. I thought that the romance for Robert Buckley's character was the least compelling part. And so it seems like this is more focused on the brothers and their rivalry. So I'm, excited about that. And we'll get to see more of what happened now they've got the baby and, kind of those things. So what about you?
Yeah, this feels kind of like National Lampoon, like kind of Christmas Vacation-y in tone. And I liked the first one, so orange.
Yeah. Okay, then we have the 9 Kittens of Christmas. This Brandon Routh, Kimberly Susted, Gregory Harrison, a firefighter and vet stumble upon a litter of 9 kittens and set off to find them homes. Not any firefighter and vet. Of course, this is our sequel to The 9 Lives of Christmas. Very exciting. I think I've got to be diamond ring on this. We've been waiting, but Hallmark sequels are usually terrible. So please hope this one will be good. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with orange because I am afraid if I set my expectations sky high, I am only going to be disappointed. And 9 Lives of Christmas is just, it's iconic. It's a legend. It's how we got the Firehouse movie, so I have to keep my expectations low so they can be exceeded.
Secret to happiness in life, low expectations.
Right.
Okay, so then we have Sister Swap, A Hometown Holiday, and Sister Swap, Christmas in the City. And this is Kimberly Williams Paisley, Ashley Williams, Mark Declan, Keith Robinson, Susan Yeagley, and Kevin Nealon. In this double feature starring real life sisters, two sisters swap lives during the holiday season. So I don't really understand what this means because they aren't identical twins. They look nothing alike. So how can they swap lives? I'm a little confused what that means, but I love the Williams sisters. They're great. So, I'll be excited, and it's something different. They've never done like a duo unless you consider The Bridge Part 1 and Part 2. That's the only one I can think of that they did. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this feels like, expanded universe time. Like, we're finally getting it. I'm very excited for the Hallmark Cinematic Universe to really start going off. So I'm going to give this like an orange. I think it's a neat concept. Again, I agree. I don't know how they're going to pull it off story-wise, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it an orange. Like, this might be like Harry and David orange. I'm really hopeful. So we'll see. Okay, almost done. We have on Movies and Mysteries, we have The Christmas Bond. And this is Holly Robinson Peete, Lyric Bent, and Nick Sanchez. A single mom and her teenage son with autism celebrate the holidays. And so obviously Holly Robinson Peete has been very invested in this movie because her son has autism. She works in the autism community with her foundations and everything. So that's really cool. That's exciting. And I hope it will be a good movie that won't be too movie of the weekish. All these movies are movies of the weekish, but you know what I mean, like afternoon special about autism kind of a thing. I hope it'll be a little bit better than that. And I really liked Holly's movie last year, The Christmas Doctor, despite the atrocious poster. I liked the movie. And so, yeah, I'm going to give this one an orange. I hope it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an orange as well. I don't think I've ever seen a Christmas movie with a neurodivergent lead character. So I'm really excited to see that. And I think it's a good step in the right direction for Hallmark, diversity-wise and representation-wise. Lifetime's obviously been getting more disabled actors, and I'm really excited to see Lifetime move into that same arena.
All right, last one is Every Time a Bell Rings, and this stars Erin Cahill, Brittany Ishibashi, Ali Liebert, and Wes Brown. Three sisters reunite in their Mississippi hometown to participate in their annual holiday scavenger hunt. And this is one you have a connection with, correct?
Yeah, I wrote it.
Yeah.
It's me.
Surprise.
Surprise, everyone. I don't know if I can give a rating on this one, because I feel like I'd be definitely putting my thumb on the scale. Obviously, I think we have such an amazing cast. Erin Cahill actually produced this, so she was with us from the very beginning, all the way through, obviously, filming. Wes Brown is a treasure. Brittany and Ali Ali Liebert's one of my favorite, kind of Hallmark figures, period. And I know scavenger hunt movies are not exactly your favorite. It kind of falls into hunting for bracelets, letters, whatever. But I hope folks will come over to the Hallmark movies now and give it a chance.
Well, I do love Christmas Scavenger Hunt, though, oddly enough, because I don't know if you ever saw that one, but I love that movie because it was pretty bonkers, but also it was just, as far as being on the podcast, it was very memorable to me because I had the guy who played the other man, John Welch, on, and it was one of my favorite interviews we've ever done. He was so funny. We talked all about how like the hotel they were staying at was haunted, and like I don't know, it was a great interview. So I have very fond memories. And when we covered that with I think I covered it with Dory, I'm pretty sure, from All the Feels, and we were just laughing and really enjoyed it. So as long as like I'm not supposed to be super like invested in the item and in the research of the item, you know what I mean? Like the scavenger hunt, I'm fine with. Like, I also liked the one with Tyler Hines last year, where they did a I think it was called the 12 Dates of Christmas, and there was a scavenger hunt thing in there. So I'm not just saying this because you're on the podcast. I think I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's interesting in Mississippi. Is this gonna be a warm weather
It
Hallmark movie?
is. It is a
Oh
warm
my
weather Christmas
gosh.
movie. Originally it was set in Louisiana.
Huh?
It was going to be filmed in like Ponchatoula, and Hallmark was very insistent in the drafts that it have snow in it. And eventually, I think we realized that it was going to kind of be like a Christmas in Graceland where we all just pretend it snows in Louisiana. I think when they made the move to Mississippi, they just kind of called it and said, you know what, no snow in Mississippi.
Oh, wow. This is a landmark event. The only other one I can think of that is in a warm climate is the one that I think it was a Rose for Christmas, I think it was called, the one that was about the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like in Pasadena, so they couldn't have snow. But this is great. That's very exciting. And I mean, the cast, like you said, hello, incredible.
And
Erin
Dee Wallace is
Campbell.
in it, who was also in
Oh,
the
really?
last movie I wrote. She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just, and it's got really, we were very passionate about making it a really diverse movie that represented more than just sort of, I think what people think of like the rural South, I think they think of one thing when actually it's really another thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get to show all of this exciting elements. And I should shout out Audrey Schulman, who also wrote Love, Fall in Order. I was working on another project, so she carried the script over the finish line. So we have both contributed. So I didn't want to leave her out in the cold. Because I loved Love, Fall in Order. So she has done so many great things with the script that I'm really excited for folks to see it.
I love Love, Fall in Order too. It's so good. And there was one that was recently that she did. Oh, what is it? What was it? So yeah, Love, Fall in Order. Yeah, I guess that may be the one I was actually thinking of. Oh, the 27-hour day she just did, which I also enjoyed. Yeah. Anyway, cool. Well, that's great. Congratulations. That's such an accomplishment. I think that's incredible. And I am very, very much looking forward to it. And I'm not just saying that because you're here, I promise. But yeah, so diamond rings all the way for every time a bell rings. And you have a new book that you just published. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's definitely a departure for me. It's fantasy. It's a fantasy romance. Don't go in expecting like. I often say the book has like Game of Thronesy elements, but that's probably wrong. Like, don't expect like 700 pages. Don't expect a whole lot of murders. It's really about like. So it's about kind of a war-torn fantasy country, and this guy who never thought he would be king because he had 7 older brothers. All of them get killed in the war, so he becomes king, and he really wants peace. And one of the ways he decides to do that is by marrying a witch, and the witches are in exile in this country, and they try to make the world a better place. It's like a fantasy book about people trying to make things better. So it's awesome. It's a really sweet romance. Got a lot of like courtly intrigue and betrayal and kissing, and it's a really fun book. If you are into kind of magic and dragons, it might be right up your alley.
Cool. Well, great. We'll put a link, or we'll put an affiliate link down in the description so people can check it out. And I think it's incredible when anybody can like write something, whether it's book or movie, incredible. So I really admire that so much.
Thank you.
All right. So we did it. That is the most preview that we can do. We did our best. And hopefully you all enjoyed it. And let us know in the comments what you're anticipating, what rating you would give for these different films, and how you're feeling about this upcoming season. Please put in the comment section. We would love to hear your thoughts. And so, Alys, how can people find you, follow you on social media, all that fun stuff?
You can find my website, alysmurray.com. That's ALYS and then Murray, MURRAY, or at writer Alys on Twitter and Instagram.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please take a look at that. And then also make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That helps us so, so much, helps people to find the podcast. Please do that. And then also, if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, as we mentioned, and we have the merch store, which can have some new festive designs. So you definitely want to take a look over there. And we have frequent sales at the merch store. So all that information will be in the description. And thanks so much, Alys. I really, really appreciate you helping me out with this. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.